Okay, we're recording now, guys. Say hi.
Hey, college.
And then camera lady, so I count as 8. And then now we go to speech. Oh.
Influential feminist Camille Paglia, in response to a fellow feminist's bashing of men, once called masculinity the most creative cultural force in history. And coming from a family with 6 men, I wholeheartedly agree. However, the concept of a truly masculine man has been thrown out and replaced by the now feminized American standard. The man of today is far from the strong and sturdy man of the past, and I mean no offense to the guys in this audience. Women are taking advantage of that fact. Now let's face it, girls will be girls and guys will be guys. Most girls like watching cheesy chick flicks and pretending that guys enjoy listening to them talk about their feelings. Well, I can't exactly talk from experience. From what I know, guys, on the other hand, like action, excitement, and hot girls. The feminization of America is essentially trying to reverse the role and identity of guys. Over these next few minutes, I'm going to brief you on the problem of over-feminization and offer a few solutions to the understated issue. Ever since the first Women's Rights Convention held at Seneca Falls in 1848, women have been striving for equality in politics, the workplace, and the family scene. And I think that if you ask anyone today in America, he or she would agree that America has reached gender equality. However, a new problem has arisen. America has become unfairly over-feminized. Being a girl myself, my words should come off as unbiased when I say that everywhere you look, things are catered to women. According to the article, The War on Fathers, done by Whistleblower magazine, 3/5 of college students today are women. This is because of the current school programs. Young boys, and I stress young boys, aren't meant to sit behind a desk for 6 hours a day. They should be granted a more interactive learning curriculum. Guys are treated unfairly even in family courts, where judges are biased towards giving mothers full custody of children in divorce cases. Besides this, I read something particularly against boys. There are actually conferences, workshops, and institutes dedicated to transforming boys from mischievous characters into individuals who express their feelings. If that isn't over-feminization, I don't know what is. What I find to be the most obvious symptom of over-feminization, though, is the portrayal of the American dad on television or in movies. In contrast to the strong, kind, and dependable dad on the old show, Father Knows Best, today's dad is usually a bumbling idiot who is time and time again forced to listen to the all-wise wife of his. For example, Ray Barone from popular sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond, or Tim the Toolman from Home Improvement. While the guys are kind of endearing, they're far from the kind of in-charge father I'd like to have. Now, one might think that because the problem of over-feminization isn't talked about that much, it's not that serious of an issue, it can just be put on the back burner. This could not be further from the truth. Without people working on the problem, an increase in the aforementioned symptoms will be inevitable. Fathers will continue to be unfairly treated in divorce cases, the academic gap between boys and girls will continue to get larger, and while this may seem important, the portrayal of the American dad will continue to get dumber and dumber. Without reform to America, these following shocking statistics will continue to increase as well. Boys are 50% more likely than girls to repeat an elementary grade, 33% more likely than girls to drop out of high school, and twice as likely as girls to develop a learning disability. Sad but true, guys, the rate of suicide is also much higher among guys. It should be obvious by now that the people most affected by over-feminization are fathers and sons. Several books have been written on the issue, such as Surviving the Feminization of America, How to Keep Women from Ruining Your Lives by Rich Zubedy and The Feminization of America, How Women's Values Are Changing Our Public and Private Lives by Eleanor Lenz. Poor fathers in court decisions of divorce cases only get full custody of their children 34% of the time in uncontested cases and 25% of the time in contested cases. Besides what I've said until now, a few serious symptoms of feminization remain. In most divorce cases, children lose their fathers as a leading individual in their lives. And according to a study done by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Fatherless children are at a dramatically higher risk for drug and alcohol abuse, mental illness, suicide, poor education, poor education involvement, teen pregnancy, and criminality. According to a different study conducted by Sharon Shea and Joan Ditson, called a study of child abuse in Lansing, Michigan, a staggering 49% of child abuse cases were committed by single mothers. These two studies alone are practically enough reason to want America to be changed from the over-feminized America it is. Loving fathers deserve to see their children just as much as loving mothers do, and mothers should only be granted full custody of their children when they truly deserve it, or if the father is not interested in the children. Prohibiting fathers from seeing their children after divorce cases is unfair to both the fathers and their children. What needs to be done to fix the problematic feminization of America is basically reformation. Family court systems and school curriculum systems need to be changed for the benefit of fathers and their sons. Laws that state that judges are not allowed to be biased towards a specific gender in court decisions absolutely need to be enforced. And also I think that school curriculum programs should balance out sitting behind a desk and interactive learning. This way the main areas of gender inequality will be tackled, and America will be on its way to true gender equality. Through these simple reforms as well, the man of today can broaden his shoulders and not feel the need to cater to a woman's every desire. And I think that these reforms are simple enough to be workable by the common man. To begin the implementation of the reform, I think that those in favor of a less feminized America need to start small. They should begin gathering, or at least brainstorming online through already founded organizations such as the National Fathers Resource Center or the Fathers for Equal Rights Incorporated. Through taking small steps among these formed organizations, a simple plan of action can be formed. I'm going to give you 3 steps to a hypothetical plan of action. And these steps are all very simple, but I think they'll be important in that they'll plant a reform-minded seed. So step 1, increase the awareness. As I mentioned before, the problem of over-feminization isn't all that talked about. To increase the awareness, brochures could be made or conventions could be held. Simple advertising could be used, like commercials or newspaper writings. Step 2, men need to prove their worthiness. I think that a lot of the reason why guys are unfairly treated in court decisions is because guys can come off as apathetic and heartless people that don't deserve equal parental rights. No offense. I'm not saying all guys. So, men and boys need to prove to America that they are worthy of being looked upon as mature and dependable beings. And finally, step 3. Like I said before, think small. Start by encouraging reform and stating the good that could come from it. When more people realize the need for reform is the time that you can start thinking big. Sometime soon, I hope that a plan of action is formed by individuals more influential than I that actually have a chance at retrieving the lost masculinity of America. Except that rather than a strictly feminized or masculine America, I hope that America is neutralized so that true gender equality can exist. It could take years, but I know that an America with true gender equality would be a wonderful America. Now, to finish, I realize that I may or may not be a lot more traditional than a lot of you. Some of you may be thinking, girls especially, I like how America is right now. I cherish my authority to make guys sleep on the couch when they upset me. But despite the fact that you may think that way, I urge you to at least recognize the problems of over-feminization, and if you're willing, get involved.